Welcome to the 40th scripture reading live stream, and we've been reading from the book of Genesis, and today we're going to continue on with chapter 39. So I'll just go to the website. I'm using kingjamesbibleonline.org, and again, Genesis chapter 39, verse 1. And Joseph was brought down to Egypt, and Potiphar, an officer of the Pharaoh, captain of the guards, and Egyptian, bought him for the hands of the Ishmaelites, which had brought him down thither. And the Lord was with Joseph, and he was a prosperous man, and he was in the house of the master of his master the Egyptian. And the master saw that the Lord was with him, and that the Lord made all that he did to prosper in his hand. And Joseph found grace in his sight, and he served him, and he made him overseer over his house and all that he had put into his hands. And it came to pass from the time that he had made him overseer in his house and over all that he had, that the Lord blessed the Egyptian's house for Jacob's sake. And the blessings of the Lord was upon all that he had in the house and in the field. And he left all that he had in Joseph's hand, and he knew not aught he had, save the bread which he did eat. And Joseph was a goodly person and well favored. And it came to pass after these things that his master's wife cast her eyes upon Joseph, and she said, "Lay with me." And he refused, and he said unto his master's wife, "Behold, my master would have not what is with me in his house, and he has committed all that he has to my hand. There is no greater in this house than I, neither hath he kept back anything from me but thee, because thou art his wife. How then can I do this great wickedness and sin before the Lord?" And it came to pass, as she spake with Joseph day by day, that he hearkened not unto her to lay by her or be with her. And it came to pass about this time that Joseph went into the house to do his business, and there was none of the men of the house there within. And she caught him by his garment, saying, "Lay with me." And he left his garment in her hand, and fled, and got him out. And it came to pass, when she saw that he had left his garment in her hand, and was fled forth, that she called unto the men of her house, and spake unto them, saying, "See, he has brought in a Hebrew unto us to mock us. He came in unto me to lie with me, and I cried with a loud voice." And it came to pass, when he heard that I lifted up my voice and cried, that he left his garment with me and fled, and got him out. And she laid up his garment by her until his Lord came home. And she spake unto him accordingly to these words, saying, "The Hebrew servant, which thou hast brought unto us, came in unto me to mock me." And it came to pass, as he lifted up my voice and cried, that he left his garment with me and fled out. And it came to pass, when his master heard the words of his wife, which she spake unto him, saying, After this manner did the servant to me, that his wrath was kindled. And Joseph's master took him and put him into prison, a place where the king's prisoners were bound, and he was there in prison. But the Lord was with Joseph, and showed him mercy, and gave him favor in the sight of the keeper of the prison. The keeper of the prison committed to Joseph's hand all the prisoners that were in the prison, and whatsoever they did there, he was the doer of it. The keeper of the prison looked not to anything that was under his hand, because the Lord was with him, and that which he did, the Lord made it prosper. Okay. That was an interesting little story about Joseph. So we saw in the last reading where Joseph, the coat of many colors, was sold, and his brothers pretended he had been eaten by a wild beast, but yet they sold him. Now he's in here in Egypt. Now let's just go back to the chapter readings here. There we are. In verse 1, it again identifies whose this chapter is about. And Joseph was brought into Egypt and sold, and an officer of the Pharaoh had purchased him. And Joseph just seemed to be charmed. He had the blessings of the Lord and became very highly regarded by by his owner. However, you can see down here in verse 7 that the master's wife tried to seduce him, and he refused. So this went on for a little bit, and then in verse 13, she noticed that when Joseph had fled, he left part of his garment in her hand. He just took off. Well, she used that to set him up. And so you can see in verse 14, she called all the men of the house in and say, "Look, here's what this person did." Da, 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 da. And when the master came back, in verse 17, she told the master that the servant had mocked her. So, in verse 20, Joseph's master took him and put him in prison. So he's now in prison. And even in prison, he kind of wins the favor of the keeper. See in verse 21, the keeper showed him mercy and gave him favor. Well, the Lord did that. So this is where this chapter leaves off, where Joseph is in the prison and is basically the top person in the prison. Okay, well, that's pretty well sums it up for chapter 39. We'll continue on to chapter 40, and we're getting close to the end of Genesis. I think just 10 more chapters. A very interesting book. Covers a lot of different aspects, but it's a lot of morality in it. I notice that would be an interesting analysis of Genesis, to look at the various issues with morality throughout Genesis. Well, thank you for joining me, and hopefully we'll see you in the next reading.